I know what's going to happen tomorrow. I know what's going to happen next week. I know how to figure this thing out. I know how to do this job. I know this man. I know this relationship. Well, when we're living life from knowing, we don't actually leave space for something new. We don't leave space for magic. We don't leave space for experiencing life in different ways, because sometimes life isn't going to work out the exact way that we want it because there's something better. Hello, my loves. Big life changes. That is what I'm talking about today. And not just big life changes, but the fear that can happen inside of you when you are going through something really challenging. Whether that is you've just broken up with your person, or you know that you're stepping into a new chapter of your life and it feels really scary. But so many women tend to find that whenever anything outside of their life changes, or they make a really big decision to say yes to something, whether that is changing your career or putting yourself back out there in the dating world, there can often be so many limiting beliefs that rise to the surface, and it feels really uncomfortable. And sometimes your body can have a reaction to this. The chemicals inside of our body start going off, and there can be low-level anxiety, tiredness, a lot of frustration, mood swings, all of the bits and pieces that make us being a woman and being a human with this body that can have sometimes so much going on. I want to share, like, for me personally, when I experienced a really big rupture and a really big heartbreak back in 2015, so 10 years ago now, I remember being really disconnected. I remember not so much like experiencing any per se anxiety. It was very much like mental gymnastics. Like, my mind was constantly trying to figure out what to do and how to fix it and how to feel better, because I was experiencing so many different waves of emotions. I was always under the impression that that was something that I had to move away from, so my mind would go into like overdrive. The fear of the unknown is real. As humans, we love routine, and we've built so much safety and security in knowing. All you need to do is look at, the minute there's something big going on in the world, or there's like these huge societal and global effects, changes, whether it is the pandemic and the economy, it creates a lot of like collective fear. People don't know what's on the other side of it. We've built so much safety in knowing. When you're able to build resilience inside of you, mentally, physically, emotionally, to withstand the unknown, that is when you have truly hit the jackpot in life. And I'll tell you why. We don't really know. We have no idea. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We don't know what's going to happen in our next relationship. We don't know what's going to happen on the date, whether there's going to be a second date. We don't know what's going to happen in America with Trump and how that's going to affect the entire world. We don't know. We can try and predict, but the truth is we don't know. So rather than expending the energy trying to figure it out, so that we can figure out all the plans, that we can stay safe and have all these different options, the true work is, how do I bring that energy back to me, back to this body, so that if the breakup happens and the marriage ends, if the career takes a diversion and you've been made redundant, been made redundant 5 times, I've sat and swam in that so many times. How can you still be such a yes to yourself, even when the life that you thought that you were living, i.e. the relationship that you thought was going to be forever, or the job that you thought you would be the one that would reject them and you'd end up leaving and finding a different job, when those things don't turn out how you anticipate or how you expected or how you wanted, how can you still be like, okay,
I see you life, I see you rupture and chaos, and I see you handing me what I don't want.
So rather than go into the victim,
why is this happening to me? Why me?
What did I do wrong?
Why have I messed this up? Why doesn't he want me? Why did they choose me to make me redundant versus all the other people in the office,
When we can really move outside of that and build resilience in being able to be like, oh, okay, life, I see you handing me something different on the menu. And you really be able to build a somatic body, which means your energetic resilience inside of you, so that you don't flare up into a huge stress response and then land in that victim mentality of why me, and actually be able to move with the energy, with the stress, and be like, oh, okay, I see you stress. I see that this is not what I wanted, but what's here for me? And I'm sharing like from a lot of experience of A, big life changes, and B, big life challenges as well. Heartbreaks. I lost my nephew in 2019 to suicide, and also lost multiple jobs. And a few of those things happen at the same time as well. So I know what it feels like to have life almost like pull the rug from underneath you, and you feel like you're lost, like your body is failing, and you feel like there's so much happening, you don't know what to do. I totally get what that feels like. I also get what it feels like to have like these big desires and feel the fear of the unknown, of them never actualizing in your life. And the key is like, no matter what happens, how can you stay true to you? No matter what happens, how can you still be grateful for A, the body that you're living in, and B, the life that you have and the life that you are living, even if it's not what you want. And that is the true work of really being able to build and withstand a body that can hold the unknown and build a life through what you're being served, you know? And I know that so many women fear that place because the needing to know keeps us safe. And it also keeps us trapped. Because when we know, then we just know.
Okay, I know what's going to happen tomorrow. I know what's going to happen next week. I know how to figure this thing out. I know how to do this job. I know this man. I know this relationship.
When we're living life from knowing, we don't actually leave space for something new. We don't leave space for magic. We don't leave space for experiencing life in different ways, because sometimes life isn't going to work out the exact way that we want it, because there's something better. And I know this to be true for me. If I'd have stayed in that relationship 10 years ago, I would more than likely be living in London still with that man, probably have children, and those things are great. London's awesome. Children are beautiful. He was a great guy in so many ways, but life was like, no, not your person, not your city, not your setup. And between now and then, the richness in life that I've experienced through learning so much about myself in detaching from that life has been more than I could possibly ever imagine. I've created a business that's really successful, and it's, you know, scaling, and I have so many amazing clients in the space, and it's a wonderful community. You know, I'm living in Lisbon, which is beautiful, and it's teaching me things every single day, and the relationships that I've formed in my life since that time has just been, there's so much depth in love in my relationships with my family and my friends. I wouldn't have experienced any of that had it not been for having that experience. And it's not even about doing those things and having those relationships and having, you know, my business and the life that I live here now, but it's in what I got to experience and what I got to let go of mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, in order to feel the way I feel about myself now, and how connected I am to my body and to my life and my living, breathing vessel. That is the piece that I think so many women tend to miss out on when we're chasing needing to know, when we're chasing needing to have it all figured out, when we're chasing I need that exact life, and if I don't have that exact life, then I'm not going to appreciate the one that I'm living now. So I'm sharing this like because I know that there's an energy going around at the moment, like so many women in my world in this really big expansive experience right now, self included, where there's a part of us that we are letting go of in order to make space for this new version of us. It can feel really uncomfortable at times. It can feel like strange and weird, and it doesn't make sense, because there's an invitation to live life in a different way, in a more wondrous way, in a more curious way, in a more trusting way. And that self-trust piece is so important. We are never really gonna fully know. We don't know what tomorrow is gonna bring, but what we do know is that we can have ourselves. We can truly, truly have ourselves. So I hope that this video landed for you. Please like, share, comment. I'd love to know what your biggest learning, your biggest takeaway, what resonated with you the most.